Hello, comic book fans, geeks, nerds, and zombies. Today I'm gonna do something that Justin did maybe a year ago. I'm gonna tell you about my backstory, or past, or however you want to say it. Basically, I'm gonna tell you about what went down when I was like 8 through now. Well, not like it's draw my life without the drawing part. So it's life. Alright. So my comic book reading started when I was about 8. Or littler. Or younger, actually. Yeah, so it basically started when I was 8, pretty much. That's as far back as... yeah, I think that's 8. Anyways. Yeah, so basically my very first comic I ever got, which I actually still have, I got that luxury of still having my um, first comic. It was actually a Nightcrawler comic, which you guys already know, he's my favorite superhero, but we'll get into that later. Anyways, right, so it was the 12 set of Nightcrawler comics that I have shown you guys, and I read you guys the first one, but really I did not plan that well, so you guys probably won't be seeing any more of those. Sorry about that. Uh, yeah, just not gonna happen. I did not think that through when I saw the number 12 and videos. Sorry. But anyways, yes, so I started out with Nightcrawler. One of my biggest memories of collecting the 12 set was I was actually on vacation throughout my collecting of the Nightcrawler comics. I was sent Nightcrawler comics, like, through the mail, and, I had them in, like, a little book, and, I just couldn't get enough of them. I kept reading them, and, I was so upset, actually, whenever, I ended it. I probably read those comics like 20 times already. But anyways, on to that, obviously Nightcrawler / Green Arrow are my favorite superheroes. Mainly because obviously I started out with Nightcrawler. He was the first person that introduced me to comic books and stuff like that, which, that's often who your favorite character is. The person who starts it off for you or the person you can relate to, and, that's... Both of those are true to my favorite superheroes. So, basically, I just, after the Nightcrawler comics, I just kept collecting them, and collecting, not Nightcrawler specifically, but, just a whole genre. My dad gave me some of the ones that he had when he was little, and basically I just got them from buying them or hand downs, and I just couldn't get enough of comic books. I loved them so much, and that was a huge period of my life where I'd just buy comic books all the time. Like, I wish I would have bought the store. But anyways, that there was a huge period in my life where I read comics immensely. And then I took a break. I took like a 3 to 4 to 5 year break. Probably 5 year break. Where I just was not into comics as much. And I just didn't do it. I bought comics, every now and then, but it wasn't that big like I had before. It was this huge break, and 6th grade is probably when I got into like a last year, or maybe it was last year, I don't know, 2 years ago or 1 year ago. I got back into comics because my friend Justin, yeah, the other guy on this channel, who got me into comics, basically, because, I had gone through that period where I just wasn't reading them. Either I didn't have the money or I just wasn't interested in them. For some reason, something else got my attention, which I'll explain to you guys later, and probably in a different video, what I was doing throughout that break. But anyways, yeah, and so, when I met him, I actually had someone to talk to about comics, so now I'm buying them again, I'm collecting them, I have a whole box full of them, and, it's just, it's kind of saddening to me that I went through that period where I was not interested in them, because, now I'm thinking I could have had this huge, great collection had I actually stayed with it, but, I mean, luckily I'm back in it now, and I probably will be till the day I die, hopefully. Um, alright, so, now let's get into my favorite superheroes. Obviously, you guys know one of them is Nightcrawler, and the other one's Green Arrow. Right, like I said, two sides of the coin, as I was explaining earlier. One's Marvel, one's DC. Uh, as I explained earlier, you either get into comics from, your favorite superhero is either the one that you can relate to the most or the one that started off for you. And for me, that's both of the cases. Green Arrow was someone I could relate to, no superpowers, fights for the little guy, and obviously Nightcrawler started it off for me. So with the Green Arrow, I just always loved his personality, I loved his humor. I loved how he fought for the little guy, as the Justice League is up there fighting for the people, for the universe, or the planet, or whatever, and Green Arrow's fighting for the city. As he says in the TV show, "You have failed the city." He fights for the city, he doesn't fight for the universe. He does sometimes, but he mainly leaves that up to the bigger guys. And, he's a lot like Spider-Man in that way. Spider-Man is pretty much the Green Arrow of Marvel. Screw Hawkeye. Yes, I do like Hawkeye, but Spider-Man is way more of a Green Arrow. Because he fights for the city. Yes, he's part of the Avengers, but he fights for the city. He doesn't fight for the universe. Like I said, same as Green Arrow. Yes, he does sometimes, but he mainly fights for the city. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's just, that's pretty much my history. That's my favorite superheroes, why I like them, and what started me into comics, and sort of what happened to me during that period, eighth, being 8 through now. So, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I didn't bore you to death. That's just sort of my backstory. And, see you later.